don't call back at all. Switch up the lens and switch my bra. I never switch up on my dog.
What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. You guys remember this shoe right here, the Jordan 1 Court Purple 2.0? We did this leather to suede nubuck custom and you guys absolutely killed the video. Ever since that video went up, it's gotten almost 90,000 views and I've probably done almost 30 pairs of these for you guys. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for the support. So I was sifting through the comments of that video and I realized that you guys wanted to see another Jordan 1 custom. This is also another custom that we've seen all over Instagram. It was inspired by my dude Filthy, who originated the look and style. It's going to be the 1985 distressing on Jordan 1s. So as you guys know, the 1985 Jordan 1s are a 35-year-old shoe now. Basically, they are really old. So for a 35-year-old shoe, along with it comes a lot of memories. You want your shoe to be able to tell a story. That's why when you pick out these elements for distressing a shoe that I'm going to be showing you, you want it to be placed in areas where it's going to have meaning to you. So naturally, for that 1985 distress look, I'd like to keep it to OG colors, but all over Instagram, you see everyone using Pine Green 2.0s, UNC to Chicago's. Basically, any type of Jordan 1 colorway can work with this type of distressing. It just adds a little extra flavor to the shoe. So this custom is going to be pretty simple, but you do want to have a lot of time and patience when you're doing this because you want every single element on the shoe to be well thought out. So step number 1 of this custom is going to be determining what you're going to use as your canvas. For this video, I'm going to be using a pair sent in from my guy Jorge. He's part of the NSB chat. He's the homie. Thank you for sending in this to use as a model. We're going to be using a 2013 pair of Bred 1s. Step number 2, look for inspiration. Of course, you want it to tell a story, but try and find some inspiration. Certain distressing looks, it's not for everyone. So when you look for inspiration, look throughout Instagram, look online, look at actual pairs of 1985 Jordan 1s. So my guy Jorge, he is a man of culture. He wanted his pair to be inspired by skateboarding and skateboarding culture. With that, we're going to have a lot more wear on this side of the toe right here where your kick flips are, here where your heel flips, where your ollies are right here. Basically, we're going to scuff up this side of the shoe. We're going to have some cracking on the collar because that's how naturally 1985 Jordan 1s are. So the 1985 Jordan 1s featured a foam on the collar covered with a vinyl. It wasn't actually leather. This is why over time that vinyl deteriorates and starts cracking. When this happens, you're left with this yellow, brownish, orange kind of foam material on the collars. This is common throughout all pairs of 1985s. No matter how clean they are, the collars are gonna start cracking. And the kicker right here. There's a lot of people that are doing this custom that are just basically sanding down the shoe. With this type of leather, you're not gonna get the same effect as a pair of 1985s because when you sand this, it turns gray. But with the OG pairs, wear and tear brings out the natural tan of the leather. We're going to get that natural patina, that fade to tan right here where the scuffs are going to be. The goal with purposely distressing a shoe is trying to get it as natural as possible. So we're going to put scuffs where they need to be and we're not going to overdo it. We're going to make it look like natural wear. Once again, shout out to my dude Filthy for starting this trend. It is absolutely phenomenal. His pairs are amazing. I'm going to show you guys how to do it at home today and show you guys my reiteration of the style. Now for real though, let's get to the video. Yo, what is going on, you guys? Let's fire up the time machine. Let's take these 2013 Bred 1s back to 1985. And these are the items that we're going to need for this custom. Cotton rounds, alcohol, 220 grit, 600 grit, 3 types of Angelus paint, a Dremel tool with a sanding head, and a mixing jar. So as always, we need to start off by unlacing the shoe so we get more room to work with, and then we're going to use our alcohol and cotton rounds, and basically we're going to wear down the black leather on the shoe. The alcohol is just going to treat the leather, it's going to dull it out, and it's going to give it a matte finish. So don't be afraid to be too abrasive with the leather, guys. We're trying to get out the black pigments on it, so don't be afraid to rough it up. And here is a quick comparison of what you're going to be looking for. The right pair is a lot more matte than the left one. So the first type of distressing we're going to do on this shoe is going to be the collar, which is going to be the most important part of this custom. We're going to put masking tape around the red leather around the collar just so that if we slip up with the Dremel tool, we don't mess up the red leather. So what we're looking to do with our Dremel tool is basically sanding down the main area of the collar, the black part. We're going to leave the lace eyelets that are on the edge because that's not usually foam on the 1985 pair. So we're going to be using our Dremel tool at about medium speed. You don't need to press down that hard, guys. The thing with power tools is that it does the work for you. Let the tool do its job and just press down lightly. So our goal of doing this is sanding down the entire collar. That means going all the way up to the liner. Whatever angle you have to go at, make sure you go all the way up to the liner. And this is how the colors should look when you are done with them. So we're now going to repeat that exact same process underneath the Wings logo, that black area that I'm pointing at right now. On the 1985 pair, that is also vinyl that extends all the way down, so that starts cracking as well. And we are now done with the color, guys. This is how it should look when you are done. We are now ready to move on to distressing parts of the shoe. Alright, you guys have now made it to the fun part of the custom. This is where you get to show your creativity. This is where you get to let your distressing tell your story. The steps for the first part of distressing is very simple. Basically, you're going to use your Dremel tool at about medium speed and go over the areas that you want to distress. After you've done that, you're going to go over it again with 220 grit sandpaper. So the following is an example of how I'm going to be doing the skateboarding inspired distressing. You don't have to follow this step by step. I'm also branching off where creases are already present on the shoe just because of depending on how Jorge wore his shoes. This is going to give it a much more natural look when it comes to distressing. And y'all see it, nothing has changed. We are still hitting it with the Dremel tool followed with 220 grit sandpaper. And there you have it, y'all. This is how it's gonna look after your initial step of distressing. I put scuff marks where they needed to be and where they made sense to me. I didn't go too overboard with it, but feel free to do it how you guys feel. And this is going to be an optional step. I'm basically going over the black parts of the leather with 220 grit sandpaper to give the leather a more worn in look. Of course, I'm not scuffing it too hard to leave any actual scuff marks. We're just wearing down the leather. So now is where we're going to work that magic. Now we're going to get that natural looking wear color on the leather and the collars, that little natural beige patina kind of look. We're going to be using our Playing the Sand, Champagne, and Vanilla paint. So how this is going to work is we are going to mix them in this little mixing jar right here. You can get these at Michael's. After that, we're going to mix it. We're going to spread it onto the areas where the distressing is and where we want that color. Mostly, you could either choose to fully wear out the collar so you can paint this all that color, or we could spread it on and start rubbing it off with the sandpaper. So with the cracking color on 1985s, usually the wear starts all the way at the top. So this full top is usually where we're going to leave it all fully beige, all along the top close to the liner. If we want that faded look, we're going to move down here. This is where we're going to be sanding it down so that it shows that black, so that it's starting to crack. That's also going to extend down here. This is usually mostly foam just because this is where the shoe flexes a lot, so the vinyl tends to crack down there. This side as well. Let me show you the ratios and let's start painting. We're going to use equal parts of vanilla and Playing the Sand to get that kind of tan effect, and then a touch of champagne just so it has that darker tint to it. And here's a quick test for you guys. This is the color we're going to come out with. So we're going to start off with painting where the distressing is, and then we'll start wearing it off with sandpaper after. So when it comes to painting the colors, I think we need to put more emphasis on the top where the color meets the liner, just because on 1985s, that's going to be where most of the color has already cracked. That's where it's going to be showing most of that beige. But you should try to cover all of the color as much as you can. And I know exactly what you guys are thinking right now. This looks like absolute crap. I want my money back. I'm gonna hit that back button. I'm gonna hit that thumbs down. But guess what, guys? This is where we're gonna work that distressing magic. As you guys can see, I laid that paint down pretty thick on top of the distressing marks. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna use our 220 grit sandpaper and basically wear it down even more. We're gonna make it look like it's worn into the leather so that it looks a lot more natural. So guys, there is no right or wrong way of doing this. This is not a test. Basically, wear it down as much as you think it looks good. If you want it lighter, sand it down more. If you want it darker, sand it less. Basically, just go off how you feel and how you want your shoe to look. Alright y'all, so basically this is what I was talking about earlier with the collars. If you want a full blown cracked out collar, just leave it as is, sand it over lightly so it's not as thick, just full send it. But if you want it having a cracked effect, basically you still have some black vinyl on there like a lot of 1985s now, just go over it lightly at the bottoms, not the top, at the bottom, and just do some diagonal strokes up and down. This is going to give it that cracking effect. The last step to finish off this distressing part of the shoe is basically using our 600 grit sandpaper. This stuff is smooth to the touch. You're going to feel like there's no grain in it at all. What this is going to do is it's going to smooth out the paint that we already painted on the shoe. This is going to prevent it from flaking off and give it a more smooth and natural look on the shoe. So you guys stay asking me the exact same question. How do I get that aged midsole look? How do I get a sale midsole? And the answer is you can get it, but it's not going to be permanent unless it's natural wear. Basically, if you want that sale looking midsole, you're going to have to paint it. And painting it, you're not going to get a permanent result. That's why I'm always against painting a midsole. But we're going to do it for this video because you guys have been asking for it. But I'm going to show you a way to get it so that it is semi-permanent. So basically you're going to rub down the midsole with acetone to get rid of any type of finish that is on the midsole, and then you're going to use that leftover paint from painting the uppers, and we're going to be painting the midsole. It's going to come out looking like this. This is exactly what you guys want, but we're not going to keep it this way. We're going to then use acetone again and strip off some of it. We're going to go over it lightly so that whatever part of the midsole it has already stained is going to stay on there, and then there's little remnants that basically help it. And thank you guys for staying till the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found it informative. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final product. And that is going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys found that video to be helpful and entertaining. I hope it inspires you to do your own 1985 custom on your own pairs. And if you guys happen to do a pair, tag me on Instagram. I would love to check them out. So I'm usually used to restoring shoes and making them look new. So making a pair look old and vintage and worn out, that's something completely new to me. But I think it turned out pretty well. I love the way these look. The wear looks super natural. And it's just eye-catching. So once again, shout out to my dude Filthy for coming up with this distressing style. All credits go to him. I'm just here to help you guys to do it at home. And just like the Core Purple 2.0s, if you guys don't want to do it yourself and you want me to hand make them for you, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My handle is Shots by Mikey. That's the best way to reach me. That's the best way if you guys ever have any restoration questions. Feel free to hit me up. I'm always down to talk. It takes me a little bit to get back to you guys, but I will definitely get back to you. So I want to do this using two pairs of OG colorways just so you guys could compare these to the actual 1985 versions of them. Shout out out to my dude D Lee for letting me use the Royals for this custom. I know you guys weren't expecting it. And shout out to my dude Jorge for letting me use the 2013 Bred ones. And thank you to everyone once again for supporting the channel. Thank you to you guys who put in orders for restorations or custom work. Thank you to you guys who just watch the videos. Let me know what you guys think about this work in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about this whole vintage look, this whole distressing style that is going all over Instagram right now. Once again, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you like this type of content, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch y'all next time. Peace.